Hey everyone, and welcome to Railblazers, the podcast, a brand new podcast from us here at Thameslink, Southern, Great Northern and Gatwick Express. It's our love letter to the people, places and passions of the railway, and we hope you join us every Friday for adventures from all across London, the home counties and the south. We'll be joined by our colleagues, content creators and a couple of celebrities, and I'll be your host, Callum Marius, for some exciting conversation. And for our very first episode, we are joined by the voice of Southern Thameslink, Great Northern and Gatwick Express, but particularly Great Northern. We often forget about Great Northern.
Great Northern's the forgotten one.
That's it. And you're on the voice. You're the voice of the actual train itself. Mm-hmm. You are Matt Streeton.
I am
Matt, the train guy. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Cal. Thank you. This is very posh, isn't it?
I know it is, isn't it? You know, we've got the train bow behind us there on Thameslink. That's Bedford, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Matt, people often think of you as the voice, right? I know that when this podcast goes out, there's going to be hundreds of comments saying, "Can you do this announcement?" And I think that's really sweet. But can you just tell us, what's your day job? What do you actually do?
So my day job. So nowhere in my contract does it say anything about announcements. Yep, I know.
Breaking news.
Breaking news here.
30 seconds into the podcast.
My actual job. So I'm the passenger information systems manager for the Thameslink Railway.
Okay.
And my actual job is managing the onboard passenger information screens, so the screens that you get on the trains, the announcements, and also with the Class 700s and the 717s on Great Northern, the selective door operation as well. That's also included.
Critical, because that's obviously a safety thing.
Yeah. So that's my actual job.
Yeah. So you're based in an office, or you're out and about? Where do you work?
I'm all over the place. So I cover our whole network.
Okay.
I work for the engineering team.
Yeah.
So my actual office is Hornsey.
Right.
But I work out of Hornsey or Selhurst. But yeah, I can do a lot of it from home. I'm out on the trains. I do a lot of night testing on the trains.
Yeah, we've seen on TikTok.
Yeah, making sure that any changes that we make, we have to sort of validate, make sure they're displaying correctly. So yeah, that's what I get up to.
So when you do all of these sort of announcements, are they sort of like added value? They're almost like your little side hustle, but now I suppose it's a main hustle as well, right?
It is, because I've been doing the announcements since 2011.
Okay.
However, like my social media background, the social media side hustle, as you say, that's only been going sort of the past sort of like 4-5 years maybe.
And it's impressive. Almost 200,000 followers? You're verified as well.
I'm verified. I got the blue tick on. I got that. I was found that on a Great Northern train. I was off to Cambridge and I was just, my phone buzzed.
It was meant to be.
That was it. And I just
what can I say? We've got some Railblazers friends.
Yeah. And I sort of like, oh, is that a TikTok, just a junk mail? And I looked and it's like, oh,
congratulations.
Wow. Congratulations. Yeah, great. Thank you.
That's amazing. I think that a lot of people probably might not get like why someone who does a couple of announcements has gone so like viral, and you've been featured all over the news. What do you think it is? Do you think it's like the familiarity of your voice? Or, because when people hear their station, it's like, oh my god, my station! Like it's really exciting.
I think that's exactly it. It's putting that face to the voice that they're so familiar with. People hear me on their commute every day, and they just hear this voice. And a lot of the comments I get on my TikTok and Instagram is, "Oh, I thought it was AI." Yeah. So now they're actually saying, "Oh wow, it's actually a real person." That's a real person telling me, where my train's going.
And I find it quite funny because, we've done a few bits together. We've done Destination Dash, things like that. And when you're out on the network, you hear you. How does that feel?
So I've got used to it now.
Yeah.
So it was very, as you can sort of imagine, sort of like right back in, I'd say 2011, for St Pancras International was the first station it went live at. And I went there sort of like, I was 21, 22 at the time. And it was sort of like, oh wow, the novelty. Wow. Now I've managed to tune out of myself.
Wait, so you started that when you were 21,
It was
22?
about 21, 20, something like that. Yeah. It was part of the Thameslink programme.
Yeah, I can imagine.
It was a requirement to have a second voice in the box at St Pancras.
Yeah.
And then it's just expanded to, I think it's nearly 200 stations now across our network.
That's amazing. So let's talk a bit then about sort of how you got to where you were in a funny way. So with the Thameslink programme, that was under First Capital Connect, who used to run Thameslink and part of Great Northern, I suppose. So where did you start? Where was your entry point to the railway?
My career started on the railways. My journey started, there you go, all the way back in 2007 in the ticket office at Potter's Bar. on
Hot
Great
as
Northern. So I'm Great Northern at heart.
Who-
I'm Great
you
Northern
are,
at heart.
you are.
So yeah, I started in the ticket office at 18. I worked there for 18 months.
Right.
And then I progressed on to working in the control centre at West Hampstead and King's Cross.
Okay.
Before, I think it was 2014, I moved into the Thameslink programme team,
Okay.
where it was a really exciting project to be a part of. And I joined at just the right time. The 700s were, the first one hadn't even been built yet.
Right, wow, fantastic.
London Bridge hadn't even started rebuilding London Bridge. It was amazing journey to go on, to be part of such a massive upgrade.
Exactly,
programme.
because the transformation that happened as a result of the Thameslink program, it's just impressive. Now we're running all over the place. Cambridge, Horsham, all these additional places, and if you look at like London Bridge Station, if you think of it's gorgeous, right? I mean, it's like an underground cathedral, in a weird way.
And it's crazy that we managed to. I know the Thameslink trains were actually diverted away from London Bridge, but
That's
London
right.
Bridge stayed open.
Yeah.
It was
It's
amazing
like-
that we were able to
real-life Tetris.
deliver. Yeah, it was incredible. And I was lucky enough to go on a tour of the station during construction, and I'll never forget the image going sort of like where the arches are with the shops.
Yeah.
I think we'd come down there, and obviously it doesn't look anything like it. It was a building site.
Yeah.
I remember coming around the corner because do you remember the old London Dungeons? Was there?
I do.
And they had I never went into it when it was there, but they had a ride in
Right.
there. And I remember where the sort of bulldozers are sort of like started demolishing sort of under the station, one of the cars was just sort of hanging out the wall that people used to sort of
Oh,
go on
yeah,
tourist
actually,
attraction.
I think I remember this.
Yeah, and it was there
Yeah,
just
yeah,
hanging
yeah.
out. I took a photo. I was trying to find it,
Yes. Oh
but
my
it was just like,
gosh.
oh wow. And now, sort of when I go there, it's like
Totally
that bit
different, yeah.
where it's connecting to Tooley Street
That's
to
it.
the other
Yeah,
side.
yeah, on the other
It's,
side.
it's amazing, the transformation.
Exactly. And I think the railway has a special place in people's hearts. I think even whether it's in London, it's a big commuter place, but particularly out in the regions that we serve. If I think of St Albans, for instance, where I live, St Albans is only St Albans because it has the railway. It's got that great connection into London. And what do you think that people find so endearing about the railway in particular? Because I noticed that, when people are following you on TikTok, they ask you for like sort of like recommendations and things like that. Well, what can I see? What can I do? What do you like about this? Do you like this place?
Yeah, I think so. For me, I find the way, the history behind the railways, the operations of the railways,
Yeah.
I find all that really fascinating. But I think what people love about the railways is just how easily the country is connected.
Yeah.
You couldn't you hear about these
lucky in
places.
this
Oh yeah,
country,
I'll go
yeah.
to Brighton, and it's literally an hour from London.
Yeah.
If you drive, I don't know how long it takes, but certainly it's quickest by train.
It's long.
and easier and long, and you can have a drink.
exactly. And on those Thames things with aircon in the summer, I think
Yeah.
I think it's literally a breeze, isn't it?
Yeah.
A lot of people don't realise. You live in Watford, right? So
Oh, yes.
Hertfordshire
Yeah.
is your baby. Have you always lived in Hertfordshire?
I am.
Is that
Born and bred Watford.
Okay.
I'm a Hornet. Yeah,
Hornet?
is it?
Yeah,
It's a
yeah,
football
yeah,
club.
yeah,
Although
it
I'm not a
is,
football
it
fan
is,
myself,
it is.
but
No, okay.
yeah, I tell you, you can always tell a true Watford resident.
Okay.
And you, I know you're St Albans, but you're
It's
local.
true. Close. We're friends.
Because, So the question I'm going to ask you, the roles are reversed now.
Hey, wait. Okay, go on. I think I already know what it's going to be. But go on.
That's good. Well, that's
what
a good
do I
sign.
call a certain thing?
What do you call the shopping centre?
The Harlequin,
There you are.
obviously.
You
it will
passed the test.
always be the Harlequin.
Anyone else who calls it anything
There you go.
different?
Exactly.
Sorry, you're not true.
Exactly. Well, you can try the rebranding of Watford could get its Thameslink program one day.
Yeah.
But that will always be the Harlequin.
And do you know why it's called the Harlequin?
no, I don't.
Because the railway line, the Watford DC line,
Okay.
under British Rail used to be called the Harlequin line because it went through Harlesden and Queen's Park.
No way. There you go. So
Yep.
that. And we're going to talk about Hertfordshire now, right? Because I think that Hertfordshire is, to use our friend Hev from TikTok's face, lots of people haven't unlocked it, but Hertfordshire as a place, as a county of opportunity, is truly stunning. And actually, it's got lots of railway heritage. Got things like St Albans signal box, and not just from a railway perspective, but just from a travel perspective. There's so much to see and do there.
Yeah.
And you travel extensively on our railways, and we sort of want to sort of talk about your sort of like recommendations and sort of like what you see on the route and your journey. And I suppose my first question is, give me 3 words to describe Hertfordshire.
So I would say it's got everything you need there. So it's convenient.
Yep.
It is beautiful. There are parts of it which are stunning.
Yeah.
And it's fun.
Yeah.
It's got
I think
its
so.
fun
I
pockets.
think so. There's tons to see and do.
Yeah.
What do you say we're coming to Hertfordshire for a weekend, or it can be, well, should we be nice? Let's say we're going north of the river for a weekend on Thameslink or Great Northern. Where are 3 places that you would recommend people to go and visit by train?
So Hertfordshire has actually got, 3 or 4 branches for GTR, because we've got Southern out Watford, then we've got Thameslink up through St Albans, Great Northern up through Pottspark, and then we've got Hertford.
Can't forget Hertford.
Hertford Loop, and that's all very nice around there. Where would we go? I think we're going to stay local.
Okay.
St Albans.
St Albans.
I love St Albans. And I know, obviously, St Albans lad, but it is truly stunning. I mean, the cathedral is just magnificent, isn't it?
And a short walk from the station as well.
Yeah.
It's super easy.
Yeah.
And people have to try an Alban bun, because many people don't realise that the hot cross bun is a descendant of the Alban bun, which was the pre-hot cross bun before the hot cross bun. And they are delicious. And you can only get the true authentic ones. They're made in a certain way at St Albans Cathedral.
As we well know from Destination Dash.
Destination Dash, we've got the bacon challenge. That is it. So genuinely, I think St Albans, there's so much, like you said, and it's easy as well. It's all walkable, and there's such a nice atmosphere. A lot of people don't realise it. But also the signal box from Destination Dash as well.
That was amazing.
I think you really, really, really enjoyed that challenge.
Obviously, I knew what the itinerary was. I was like, it's the last one on the last day. And I was so looking forward to it, and it didn't disappoint.
Yeah.
I found it absolutely fascinating. I did a TikTok on it. So there was a TikTok, and I had some great feedback on there. People saying, I've lived in the area for...
I know. People don't realise it's there.
No ideas.
Sundays, you've got to pop up down to see our friends at the Silver Signal Box.
It's great.
It is great. Actually, let's touch for a second quickly on Heritage Railways, because they're a big part of your life.
Yeah.
So you volunteer at Seaton Tramway.
Yep.
Down in, was it Devon?
It's East Devon.
Devon, isn't it?
East Devon, yeah.
But you also, out of hours, do you little stints on the Ruislip Lido Railway?
Absolutely. So if I'm not working with trains, I'm playing with trains. I lead a very train life, and trams as well. That's a new sideline. So I joined Ruislip, the Ruislip Lido Railway.
Okay.
I joined when I was 8 years old.
Wow.
So it's been a big part of my life, and I drive the steam engine there, do the guarding. I'm on the board of directors there. Massive part of my life. And you say Seaton Tramway. I've been doing that for about 4, maybe 5 years. That was all through TikTok as well.
Really?
It only came about because of TikTok. The marketing manager there, Josh, he got in contact with me. He saw one of my TikToks and he said, "Do you want to come and drive a tram for a day?" And I was like, absolutely. So me and my friend, we went down 160 miles, 3 hours in the car, went down there, fell in love with the place. I mean, I knew about the place anyway before.
Of course,
but I said, do I live too far away to volunteer here? Spoke to the ops manager and we agreed, no, go for it. And I'm loving it. I'm off there this weekend as well.
That is a definition of a busman's holiday. You're playing with trains, then you're playing with trams, then you go back to trains. Like, you're loving it and you're living your best life. And we love to see that as well, actually, because I think loads of people who follow you on TikTok, they like that sort of, that trains can be a career and a hobby as well.
Yeah.
And I think that's really, really special too. And I think that actually, when it's quite funny, like as a railway company, people, a lot of our sort of like the destinations that we promote are art or sports and things like that. But railway itself, especially with Railway 200 this year, that's become a real like adventure for us. We've got Bluebell Railway on Southern, we've got
Lean Valley up on Great Northern. And you know what I really love about this day and age with social media is the acceptance of liking trains. Because when I was growing up, it wasn't very,
not the coolest.
It wasn't the coolest thing at school to like trains. But now
we're Railblazers.
We're Railblazers. There's now a new term I don't know if you've heard it called trainfluencers.
Yes,
like
that's
Francis,
it. You are a
trainfluencer, and it's great. I get people coming up, comments on my TikToks, and seeing other people showing their love for trains, and it's incredible. It's brilliant that people are actually feeling like they're safe to actually express their. I love trains, and I do, as you do.
Literally shout out to Train Talk, because genuinely, we've with Railblazers, we've made a few other friends as well. Tom, who you might know as Vaguely Got Mundane. We've also got Anthony Hidden Gems London, and all of their sort of adventure, they all start by train and all start by public transport. And I think it's really impressive to see that sort of acceptance and it's not even niche anymore. I don't even think it's that niche, to be honest with you. It was always there, but now it's time to shine.
I agree.
Let's go back to Hertfordshire. Where else are we going?
So I'm going to stick home. I'm going to stick at home.
Okay.
So Watford has some hidden gems. I mean, Cassery Park.
Okay.
It's very local to me.
Yeah.
It's it was just actually down the road from where I live. So
Okay.
during lockdown, it was amazing, sort of like
That
my
was your
mental health
getaway.
to get out. You
That's
know,
it.
huge place.
Yeah.
I know you know it.
Yeah.
I think it's still voted like one of the top 10 parks in the country.
Yeah, it's
So
nice.
and obviously we can reach there on Southern at Watford Junction.
Watford Junction. A lot of people forget that Southern goes.
Yeah.
The most north you can go on Southern
Yep.
is Watford Junction.
Yeah.
It's a nice little train journey actually.
It is.
It goes around the outskirts of North West
I
London.
think
It's quite fun.
other than Thameslink, correct me if I'm wrong, other than Thameslink, it's the only other cross London mainline route.
That's well. It depends if you count London Overground, but
That's true,
But,
but-
the East London line.
yeah.
But yeah, you're right. You're
Yeah,
right.
up
Although
to
South Western Railway technically go north of the river at some point, but I think
guess they do,
yes,
yeah.
on the Hounslow Loop and stuff like that. But yeah, genuinely, Cassiopary Park. That's a hidden gem.
It's lovely, and it's got a train.
Oh yeah, it does.
Got a little
doesn't it?
miniature train.
It has.
And
it has.
16 years old, I was driving there for a little bit as well.
Did you?
Yep, I
Wait,
tinkered
wait, you
with
can
that one.
drive it at 16 years
16
old.
Well, you could when I drove
Okay,
it. Whether I was allowed to or
yeah,
not, I
that's
definitely
it.
did. But that was amazing. But
That's
I
not
say
full of family, yeah.
one of the little gems, and I remember we spoke about this, is Cheslin Gardens.
Still not been there.
Very-
That's not too far from
that's
Cassiopary Park, is it?
No, it's very, very. It's a very
Watford Junction.
local gem.
Yep.
About 3 acres
Yep.
of beautiful gardens. There's ponds. There's an aviary. Lovely house. Yeah, it's tucked away down a little residential street. It's. I've just given the game away now. Just
That's
given
it,
the
that's
secret.
it,
But
that's
it's
it.
lovely to just go and chill out there.
That's it, and we don't like to gatekeep on this podcast. That's what we're
No.
here for. So, Cheslin Gardens, we're making a stop there
Yeah.
next time we're going to Watford Junction. And where would your final destination be in Hertfordshire that you'd recommend to explore by train?
Oh, I'm gonna say Hatfield. And the reason I'm going to say Hatfield, now the reason I know is I feel sometimes Hatfield gets a bit of a bad
rep.
name.
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
The Hatfield House
Yeah.
is amazing.
gorgeous.
That's lovely there. But I really like the heritage. This may sound a bit odd.
Go on.
Hatfield, it's aviation history.
Yes.
Because
yes.
the old de Havilland.
Havilland, that's right.
And the fact that, you can still see parts of the old, like the
Yeah.
control tower, that
Yeah,
bit.
absolutely. Yeah,
like,
yeah.
The Hatfield was where the Comet,
Exactly.
the first
The Comet
ever
line.
commercial
Yeah,
jetliner was
absolutely.
created. Hatfield.
And a lot of people don't realise about Hatfield is one, it's relatively easy to explore. It's relatively flat also. But two, if you're into urbex, there's so much to do at Hatfield because the aerodrome there is now it's a public space, right?
Yeah.
So you can literally walk down these old runways, and it's beautiful. You can do it along to you can almost go as far as sort of the edge of St Albans. It's a really beautiful walk. It takes you down to sort of Smallford, and if you're really into your trains, you can do a bit of a circuit, I suppose, and come back on the Alban Way, which is the heritage line, which is now a cycle path.
That's right, because there's the Nicky line as well, isn't
That's
there?
right. That's from Harpenden to Hemel
That's the other
Hempstead.
one I was thinking
That's
of. Yeah,
right.
yeah.
But from Hatfield to St Albans, you've got the Alban Way,
Yeah.
and it's genuinely beautiful. And actually, shout out to I think there's this guy called Mike here who lives in Hatfield, and he's sort of like taken on these former stations and rebuilt them into sort of like community assets, and they're really, really, really gorgeous. There's one called Great Nast Hyde, which is in Hatfield, and it has like preserved British Rail signs. It's got like the old advertising of like.
Is that the
Daily
one with
Mirror
the
and stuff
sick?
like that.
It's got an old
It's
sick.
got an old
I've seen
that's
photos.
it,
I've
with
not
the
been to
semaphore.
it, but
Yeah,
I keep meaning to go for a bike ride along there.
Honestly, it's brilliant. I really recommend that. If, on a nice summer's day, or even in the winter, actually, I think because a lot of people, when they think about like going for long walks in the countryside, they're a bit like, it's a bit isolated. I don't know if that's for me. But from Hatfield to St Albans, it's about 6 miles, and the Alban Way literally starts just by Hatfield Station, ends just by St Albans Abbey Station, actually, but also goes past St Albans City. And you're never that far from like a main road or something like that. So if you've got kids or something like that, or if you're going at sort of like a early or late in the day, you're never too far from public transport. So yeah, definitely we've got to shout that out.
It's well connected.
Hatfield there. On your train journeys though, because you do travel all across Thameslink, Southern Great Northern and Gatwick
Yep.
Express, is there anywhere that's surprised you that you've come across?
Oh, good question. Anywhere that has surprised me,
Or anything you've seen, you've gone, oh wow, I love that stretch, or you look out the window because we see your TikToks out the window.
Yeah.
Normally, I mean, actually, I saw Gatwick Airport the other day, that cracked me up.
I would say, I mean, for me, it was. I wasn't aware of it, but I obviously know locals will be aware of it. Was the Arun Valley? line, just south of Horsham, and Horsham
That's really
itself.
nice. Horsham is lovely.
I didn't realise how lovely it was.
Yeah.
Like that. Oh no, that stretch along there with, is it Arundel Castle?
Yeah, that's it.
I think.
Amberley, all these places along there.
Really
yeah,
nice.
Yeah, and you can get the train, and there's a podcast even about that train line to listen to, and you just hop on and off. cycle in between. There's lots of films that were filmed down there. And actually, if you're a transport geek, a bit like us, Amberley Museum, you've got to visit.
I've seen photos. That's on my to-do list.
If I could recommend one thing to you, Matt, that would be to go down to Amberley Museum. Right, they've got like heritage buses. They've got a few. They've got like a sort of like a heritage railway sort of. But basically, it's in an old quarry. And the things that they've done there, it's like stepping back in time. It's genuinely beautiful. It's like Chocolate Box England, and it's literally right by the station. So you come out of the station, and the first thing you see is Amberley Museum.
Nice and easy to get to.
And it's 2 for 1 if you travel by Southern.
Okay.
So yeah. So
well, if there's rails there, I'll be there. Yeah.
When we're out there railblazing. You work all sorts of like hours because of the sort of like testing that you do. And recently you've been involved with the Class 379s coming onto network, some stuff around Cambridge South. Mm-hmm. That's a new station coming. When you get advance notice of all these projects, because naturally, they have to do lots of sort of like trains and testing and things like that. I think you do a really good job of breaking it down for people. How do you come up with like when you're thinking of like how you're going to explain these sort of like, they can be quite difficult concepts on social media. How do you go about it?
If I'm completely honest, I don't. I
just go off the
I
cuff.
just go in there. So like the Cambridge South one, I went, what angle am I going to take on this? So I just film.
Yeah.
Okay. Obviously the job was coming first. But I just film, and so like the introduction of that video, I did an intro talking to the camera, but I also filmed some bits around King's Cross so that I had 2 lots. Right.
Yeah.
Am I going to do this in the style of a voiceover completely? Like when I did bring the 379s in, we bought the 379s in. Up to King's Lynn.
Yep.
That was just like all voiceover. Okay. But that one, Cambridge South one, I thought, no, I'll have a bit of a mixture in there. Yeah. So we had sort of speaking to the camera. So yeah, I sort of then. So it's only when I'm editing, and I think probably a lot of people are like that sort of like, I'll work it this way, or that works, or
Because the reason that I ask you that is when you're on the go, you're really good at sort of like just picking up your phone and sort of like capturing doing what you're doing, but. Is it exhausted? Like, do you enjoy making the content? Because I suppose, like, when it comes to announcements, surely there's got to be a point where you're just like, I can't do another announcement.
I get exhausted by me.
Do you?
Yeah, I have to live with me. That voice, you only have to hear it when you're on the train or doing a podcast.
Course,
I have to live that 24 hours.
Of course.
And it doesn't. I haven't worked out how to shut it up. It just keeps going.
Yeah.
But yeah, sometimes, especially if it's been a long day, naturally, but you've got to film, you've still got to capture all the, of course, the footage you need, and then obviously that getting the B-roll so that obviously when you're doing the editing, you've got those bits to sort of cover up where you've made mistakes, and, fluffed up your lines.
Is there a particular station? This doesn't have to be Hertfordshire, but it's just come into my head, so I thought I'd ask you with a particular quirk or a bit of a hidden gem of a station that you enjoy on Thameslink Southern Great Northern Express?
Just anything.
Yeah.
Anything.
A particular quirk.
There's a little fact. I'm pretty sure this is right. Hopefully I don't get shot down for spreading fake news. But at St Pancras,
right.
How to describe it? You've got all the columns down where the shops are.
Yeah.
On top of the columns, there's what look like car suspension. Things that go cars.
Keep the bullets in place.
Yeah, and there's 4 on each top of each corner. Then there's a steel girder. Then there's the concrete for the floor.
Okay.
My understanding, from what I've reliably been told, and I hope it is reliable, is that the girders are not strong enough to take the weight of how when the new station was constructed 2007.
Yeah.
So those I don't know what you call them, those suspension things, they transfer the weight from above down onto the pillar, bypassing the original girders. So those girders are not they're not supporting the weight. They're fake, but they're the original. They've kept the original iron beams in the station.
Wow.
Yeah. I hope that's true. I hope I'm not spreading fake.
I know for a fact that there'll be someone listening to this podcast that will come and fact check us if it's not.
I saw it on a documentary, and it makes sense when you've looked at it. It's sort of, you can see that they're really old. They're hopefully they're not taking all the weight above. is being transferred around and down the columns. That's a very geeky.
That is very
little
geeky.
thing I like.
That is very geeky, and that is not what I was expecting. I thought you were going to say something like, Gravesend has a platform 0, Red Hill has a platform 0. I'm a big fan.
And
of
King's
King's
Cross.
Cross.
King's
There
Cross
you go.
got 0.
Platform 0.
Yeah.
Where would you say actually is your favourite sort of like a steam railway or heritage railway in the country, perhaps?
In the country?
Yeah.
My favourite steam railway, I think, is... Oh, that's a tough one.
It's a tough one.
There's two. Can I have
Okay,
two?
go on.
Okay, the first one is the Vale of Rydal in
Where's
Wales.
that? Okay.
North Wales goes
That's
from
not
Aberystwyth,
okay, cool.
and it goes 11 miles up to, I think it's called, I can't remember what the top station is, but it's 11 miles, and it literally runs along the top of the side of the mountain. It's spectacular. It's amazing there.
That's where we're going for Instagram.
That's that. Oh, it's Instagrammable.
Is it?
Oh
Okay,
yeah.
okay,
And then the other one is the Burr Valley Railway in North Norfolk.
Okay, cool.
9 miles, 15-inch gauge. So it's sort of similar to a sort of Ruislip. But I used to volunteer there as well. But they've got some magnificent steam engines there. Some of the most powerful 15-inch gauge ones in the world. Yeah, they're both steam railways.
So, Matt, now we're going to do a bit of track trivia. So you might think your brains are brittle when it comes to trains, but can you train your brain? We're going to put you up against Ed, another one of our Railblazers. So let's welcome him to the podcast now. Hi, Ed.
Hi, guys.
Hello.
So, Ed, just like Matt, you've made the transition from frontline to in front of the camera. Do you want to tell us about that?
Yeah, so I started my career at Thameslink and Southern at Gatwick Airport. I was a train dispatcher for a year and then saw this new role that had been created by yourself for content leisure creation. And I was just like, that sounds like something I'd really like to get into. And it's exactly 1 year to the day when I started at the railway to when I started my new role.
Oh, happy work anniversary!
So I did exactly 1 year dispatching trains, and now on to the next part of the company.
Now you're in charge of the trainfluencers at Britain's biggest train company. Like, is that a big responsibility? How do you feel about that? Because it's the content creator world. That's totally new. That's just popped out of nowhere, I suppose, in the past few years.
It's something I never thought I would be doing. I don't think trains and influencers usually go together, but I mean, we've got prime example here of they
Matt,
do.
of course.
And then it's quite fun because I get to watch a lot of the influencers that I enjoy on TikTok.
Absolutely.
And then I think, oh, I can just go work with them, and I'll contact them and I'll say, come on one of our trains and make a video for us, which is quite fun to be able to do.
That's the thing about Railblazers, what we're trying to do here. It's a community for everyone, right? So whether you're one of our colleagues, one of our content creators, or even a celebrity, if you love trains and if you love the joy of travelling by train, everyone's welcome here with what we're trying to do at Railblazers. But having said that, will you impress with our track trivia section? So ready? I'm going to
I'm a bit worried.
fire questions
I feel
here.
like-
You're
Yeah.
worried.
No,
I'm up against the train man himself.
So let's find out who is going to take home the track trivia crown. So ready? A couple of questions here. Question 1. How many stations are there in St Albans?
Being 2.
Yeah, which are?
St Albans Abbey and St Albans City.
Well done. Okay. Next question. Which Hertfordshire station on Southern is closest to the Warner Brothers Harry Potter studios?
Bong, Watford.
Yeah, Watford Junction. I'll give it to you. Okay.
That's where you live.
Yeah.
I was just about to bing. I was going to give a polite bing.
Which Hertfordshire station on Thameslink was originally intended to be called Aldenham?
Bing. Radler.
That's correct. Okay. Which Hertfordshire station, again on Thameslink, has its very own Walk of Fame outside?
Bing. Elstree and Bournemouth.
That's right, her home of UK TV and film. Which Hertfordshire station is known for being the first outside Greater London whilst still being situated in Travel Card Zone 6?
Bong, Alexandra Palace?
Not quite.
Potter's Bar?
No, it was Elstree Bournemouth
Oh, was it
again.
Elstree?
It was Elstree Bournemouth again.
but they
But
moved-
Potter's Bar, you can have oyster now. So,
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, because I remember when we were there,
It's gone
had
up in the world.
plenty of arguments about people who wanted their travel card for the bus, which is in the zones.
You can.
But,
you can,
that's a
you
long
can,
time
you
ago.
can.
It was a long time ago.
That was once upon a time.
Yeah.
Okay, which Hertfordshire station is also at a garden city other than Letchworth?
Bing.
Bong.
Go on, off you go. We're too polite here. After you, no, you win, yes. Welling Garden City.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. What's the name of the viaduct closest to Welling North, where you can get spectacular views of the Hertfordshire countryside?
Bing. Digswell.
Yeah, that's right. The Digswell viaduct. Okay, well done. I think that's just Matt. But
I think
that might have been Mission Impossible to go up against Matt. Okay, right. So now we're going to put 60 seconds on the clock for some Railblazers recommendations. Just to wrap things up, we're looking for what first comes into your head for exciting places to go visit by train. So, ready? Mm-hmm. Let's do it. 60 seconds. Let's go now. Number 1, best Hertfordshire station for people watching.
I think St Albans.
Yeah,
it's very busy. Very busy.
A lot of people don't realise it's busier than Luton Airport Parkway. It says busiest station on that line. Go-to train snack.
Oh, so I think dairy milk.
Ooh,
I think dairy milk. I've got to be
got a sweet tooth, ladies and gentlemen.
I've got to have gluten-free now. I've got to have gluten-free now, so I think I'm going to have to be plain dairy milk. Otherwise, before having to go gluten-free, I was going to say those big tubs of M&S, the chocolates.
Oh, yeah. When you got Simply Food,
and they're sort of like gorging on a whole tub of those. By the time you get to destination, you're like...
delicious. Yeah. Okay, one word to describe Hertfordshire.
Home.
What are you listening to on the train?
See it, slay it, sorted.
Of course, correct. That's the correct answer. Yeah. Well, your vocals are actually on it, so there you go.
I know.
If you could rename a Hertfordshire station after yourself, which one would you rename?
Oh, wow. After myself?
Yeah. Which would be the Match Street station?
I'm going to have to be Watford Junction, obviously.
Okay, cool. Favourite landmark you can see from a train? And that doesn't have to be in Hertfordshire, that could be anywhere. Your favourite landmark you can see on a train?
I'm not going to say the obvious one out of Blackfriars and sort of say Tower Bridge. I'm actually going to say Ely and Ely Cathedral.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, on Great Northern.
That is stunning,
nice.
especially when you've got the sun setting behind.
Oh, that's glorious.
Amazing.
I'm going to jump in on this one and say Arundel Castle. On the
Arundel Valley. Yeah.
We were talking about
That's it. Railblazers territory. That's cute. Favourite place to go on the Thameslink?
On the Thames, Brighton.
Thanks, Ed. Thanks, Matt, for your Railblazers recommendations. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the first episode of the Railblazers podcast.
Can I just interrupt you there, Cal?
Oh, yeah, you can.
Because I have got a gift for you and your team.
You have?
Okay. Act surprised, as though you can't see this big flashing thing down here.
What could it be?
But I have got a gift from my friend Russell, who runs UK Departure Boards. This is a UK Departure Board, which we'd like to give to you. And as you can see, this is live.
We are officially Railblazers now that we have the Railblazer board. And we're gonna have to. You're gonna have to follow us at TRL UK, at Southern Rail UK, at GNRail UK, at Gatwick Express, and see what we do with this.
This is showing Potts Bar.
Piece of magic. Where it all began.
There you go. This is where it all began. So there you are. Enjoy that. It can do lots. I'll show you how it all works. And enjoy
UK Departure Boards.
This is a really lovely bit of tech.
And if you're listening, listeners, honestly, it is the most glorious thing. It literally feels like we're at the station right now.
All on time as well. So
all on time. There we go. Well, thank you so much. What a way to start our first podcast.
No problem.
That's so exciting. Well, thanks to you for listening for this very first episode of the Railblazers podcast. We'll be back next Friday with plenty more adventures from the people, places, and passions of the railway. Follow us. Hashtag Railblazers at TRL UK, at GNRail UK, at Southern Rail UK, and at Gatwick Express.